welcome to Amsterdam. What you need to know most about this part of the world is has been the Dutch for hundreds of years, and we won. We won because since 1300 we've actually added thousands and thousands of square meters of ocean, and we added it to the land, so to Amsterdam itself, and the Netherlands itself. The Netherlands is actually an eroding piece of land, so the water and the wind actually suck away at the land of us, so we have to man-make it to actually live here. So that can be quite hard. So we always say that Amsterdam was sort of built around 1250, because then we made a dam in the river the Amstel. So this is the river the Amstel.
Now before we enjoy more of this beautiful Amsterdam Canal cruise, including the red light district, I'd like to thank my sponsor, AlertBot. AlertBot is a website monitoring service that gives you peace of mind when you travel. If your website crashes or your customers have trouble accessing your pages, AlertBot will notify you of the issue so you can quickly fix the problem. AlertBot's clients include many Fortune 500 companies, including IBM, Sony, Disney, Chrysler, Travelocity, and MGM Resorts, to name a few. Check out their website at alertbot.com. There's a link in the video description. You can try this service for 14 days free. Use promo code AndysAwesome20 to save 20% on any monthly or annual plan you sign up for.
This is the Amstel, but if you ever hear someone saying about this really rich flowing river, then don't believe them, because we are actually going to the end of the Amstel. It actually ends in the middle of Amsterdam. It used to go underneath the dam square, which we had all the way in front of us, but they actually closed this off, and now it's a pedestrian area. No, it's alright, he just makes very narrow corners. So this is the oldest part of Amsterdam, this house here on the corner. We call it the house bordering 3 canals, because that's the only house that does it. And this house was built around 1610, but they even found remnants of 1550 in the framework when they did research. The old city center, this is where the merchants used to live. And I always feel like this architecture says also something about these people. So what you usually have is like half a floor going into the ground. Therefore you have an extra floor and you don't add any more height to it. Then on the first floor you have these really almost spanning the entire wall of the city, of the house. And then the higher you go, you see the smaller the floors become. And there is a reason for this. It's because the Dutch people had to pay taxes according to how wide the front of their house was. So what did the Dutch people do? They built small and they built up. And therefore, you see these top floors are really small. They've just been added there because they use these for cargo and other things that you can store there. So they weren't really used as floors where you can live. Today we live on every square meter that we can find. Like this is because everything had to be built by brick. We had a massive fire in the 15th century which burned down 2/3 of the city and killed a lot of people. And then they said to make everybody safe, you only had to pay taxes to the front. So this was a way of getting around. Yeah, so I mentioned that most of these, they're very narrow, some are only just 2 or 1 window wide. For instance, this one has just 1 window, so that would have meant that he didn't want to pay no taxes or that he couldn't afford more stones. And because all these houses are so narrow, the stairs are also quite narrow. You may have fallen down some stairs already in Amsterdam, but they are very narrow and very tight. And that's because you have to be quite economical with your space in a way. Also, if you want to move your things to the top floors, I can tell you from personal experience, you will not get a couch up through the stairs. If you get stuck, everybody will scream minute and nothing will actually happen. So the way that we This is the old church. It's the oldest building that we have. Started building it in 1275. You see often more in the city center. Yeah, this is in 2000 we legalized prostitution here in the Netherlands. And I always like the story that we want to give these people a legitimate job and wanted to protect them. But probably also for tax purposes, because if you can tax that industry, you're one step further. So that would probably be the most, the first reason. But yeah, you have a few rules because we legalized it. So for instance, red lights are you cannot participate on the street. You have to have a red light. It's blue, red for women, blue for men, and purple for trans people. But I always say don't go follow every pretty light here in every window because some people just have colorful windows. Not everybody is working. And it also may feel like it is like a new thing for this area when we legalized it. But in fact this is the old entry port for all the sailors in Amsterdam. So maybe they have been at sea for 2-3 years coming in through here, which is why they call us Little Venice. And come through here, and also we're probably looking for some drink and some company. So not a lot has changed here in all those centuries. So now we're going out to the old city center. You can see these huge doors over here in front of you. This was actually a way of closing off parts of Amsterdam. So if you had like weather or high water or invading armies, you can actually close it. We don't have a lot of invading armies anymore, just tourists. But, so these are not used, but you can actually use them still. Actually wanted to let themselves be painted, so they asked Rembrandt to come in here and they paint the Nightwatch right here. And that's one of the most famous paintings Rembrandt ever made. It's really big, and right next to the clock on top you can even see two of these figures that represent on the painting itself. On the point, the pool tower is in front of us, and those dancing houses are again on your right. It was owned by a midwife, and you can see that because it has a stork on the corner there. And that's the midwife side. But the funny thing is that still a midwife lives here. So if you're running for a midwife, you have this visual representation.
Inside. And delayed today.
Delayed today. You're supposed to... The wine with the rosé? Sure. Yeah. These are about 300, 400,000 just for the spot of water. Yes. Huh? No.
Now you